purely domestic family matter that could be settled. After all, people go to court, and the judge will advise members of the family, either a couple, to come and go and settle out of the court. But this is purely a private matter.
Business. All right, moving on now. For them battled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, the battle ahead may get tougher. The federal government has again amended the charges against Emefiele. The new charges include forgery, conferring of corrupt advantage, and criminal breach of trusts. The government had initially filed 19 charges against the former CBN governor, bordering on procurement fraud, but later pruned it down to 6. In the amended charge, Emefiele is accused of obtaining the sum of $6.2 million by pretense, by falsely representing the secretary to the federal government of the Federation, now contrary to Section 1, Subsection 1 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Related Offence Act 2006. Gentlemen, this is getting interesting. You know, but since this journey started, I've been having, yes, he wasn't charged initially. The first charge was gun running, illegal. So as at that time, not knowing that the secret police, they were just gathering that this thing, and investigation was on. From the investigations and everything that we've seen so far, Mr. Emefiele might have, found himself in a very long thing, as in a long time will come before he can exonerate himself from this big mess he has found himself in.
Well, I think we have to know one thing. Number one, the man spent 9 years as governor of CBN governors in Nigeria. So the longer time you spend, the more shit you have to cover up. Number two is the fact that most public officers in Nigeria are guilty of being arbitrary in what they are doing. They regard themselves as law. And from the lot of complaints about the banking system in Nigeria, I think we should not be surprised that a Pandora box, what I regard to as a Pandora box, because when something is smelling in your kitchen, when you enter your house, for you to know the object of the smell, you have to turn the kitchen inside out. If the egg is somewhere inside the box, you have to remove a lot of things. In your attempt to locate the source of the foul smell in your kitchen, you are likely to see many other things that has gone wrong. And this is what is happening with the Central Bank of Nigeria. For as long as they keep on examining other departments, there are a lot of hidden things that are in the CBN for somebody who spent 9 years, who at the end of his 9 years reign, he succeeded in inflicting untold pain on the people of Nigeria. That is enough to attract attention. I think we have just started. We have not seen anything yet. We are still going to see more. The more the new herdsmen, or the more the new government wants to introduce new reforms in the CBN, the more of the things that are going to come out to the public.
Tony, I'm not happy with the system. It's the system that will give the Central Bank of Nigeria, the governor, unlimited powers, that we have access into all this. Because if you read the Obaze investigation reports, what is coming out is oozing. As in the amount that the CBN governor will have access, the responsibilities, the power, and everything, and to the extent that some banks were actually sold, and the money that they were sold for was not remitted into the coffer, and so a whole lot of mess.
It shows that we need to look at the system again. The moment Emefiele, the former CBN governor, declared interest in politics.
Yeah.
I know something was wrong.
He was so rich and so audacious.
And it was
to the extent to say,
so audacious.
Look, I want to contest for the president. Because look at him and his Bible. Look at and the Bible.
Maybe he has not been to
God is a very patient person, though.
It was mean.
Touching to a big Bible.
And no matter what Nigerians were saying at that point, it wasn't making sense to him. He was focused on that presidential, and then the Naira.
He went to court. He went to court.
A public officer.
He went to court to stop the INEC and other parties from stopping him to,
There's nothing Emefiele didn't do. It was odd, strange. We've never seen that in the history of this country. That a incumbent CBN governor was vying for office
even an
of the
incumbent
president.
Have you ever seen a permanent secretary?
I've never seen it. So I'm seated
even in the
at the
state
helm of affairs of
affairs,
CBN, still running bought vehicles. Just like yesterday here, bought vehicles, splashed it over the media, and we're just watching. But then, I will not exonerate the former president from that.
Yes.
Because he was a supervisor. Was the president of the country at that point. Nigerians were crying, like, what is going on? We've never seen this happen. It happened under Emefiele.
I think we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's happened under Emefiele when he has the guts to go for, to challenge, to go into the presidential foray. I know there are other things he may have done. I'm not surprised at this. Just as you said, more roads are going to be unnetted as the investigation continues. I know he did a lot. He did a lot against the economy of this country as CBN governor. And the most annoying part was that Nigerians were even, were crying. You should have that Naira policy. And even when the Supreme Court ruled, the guy was adamant.
This
is what I want. I've never seen that happen.
As if this president is bigger than
I'm telling you, I've never seen that happen. So I'm not too surprised at this. I'm not at all.
We haven't seen nothing
I'm not too surprised at this. And I believe more is going to come out. And I pray that justice is served in this case. Because if he fails to do that, another CBN governor might come and say, this one did it, and nothing happened. So there must be a full stop to this. It may never happen to Nigeria again. And that Naira policy was still feeling the pains today. Just go, some banks are still pegging.
Yeah, till tomorrow.
Till tomorrow you can't withdraw a certain amount of money. Yeah. That's a year after. We're still feeling the pains of that policy.
I was in the bank yesterday. I was told that
I
can't withdraw if my ATM is not from that bank. I can't withdraw beyond 5,000 naira. That I have to do it 5 times.
That's exactly.
And I did.
Some 20.
I can even tell you that since the initiation of his budget policy, I've not entered any banking hall. So for my sanity and everything,
it's true. It's POS. Yes, now it's better now.
I know those POS guys are making money.
I don't.
He has made them rich.
But another problem is that we also have problem with POS.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Clever guys. Well,
because they mop up the cash in the system. So even if you go to some ATM machines, you cannot withdraw any amount. Some of them are empty. So you definitely go through the.
Looking at it now, the way we are unraveling these cases and they are amending his case and the case before him, somebody who even told me yesterday that Emefiele might be competing favorably with General Sani Abacha. The amount of level of malfeasance, experience.
I think we have to give something to Abacha. He loves Nigeria so much that 25 years after his death, the money is saved for Nigeria. It's still being repatriated. He so much loved us. But what I believe is that whatever comes around, goes around. There is nothing anybody can do that you will hide what you have done. You can only hide. You cannot run permanently. Like Yoruba will say, you can only do something and keep it. One day, somebody will come up and reopen everything. Like I said the other time, we aren't seeing nothing yet with regard to what Emefiele did to Nigeria and the financial system.
I agree.
And we don't learn from the past, and we are not thinking of amending and adjusting our systems. Another CBN governor will be there, can do something that is more than this.
That's why we need
yes,
to
now,
look
so
at
far there's no punitive.
Yeah, that's why we need to look at this. This is supposed to, give us the opportunity or start thinking in that direction. That it's time.
The National Assembly.
Yeah, we need to look at the books again. Yes. Anything that makes the CBN governor so powerful.
So powerful.
Powerful. At times, more than the president. Because what Emefiele did, it's unthinkable.
No central bank governor has ever done that.
We need to look at it again. What is that thing? What are those things that give him that power? That's what I think we should be talking about now. The National Assembly, most importantly.
They call it CBN Act.
Yeah. Look at that CBN Act again. That empowers that governor to do. He did a lot. He did a lot in Nigeria. He was empowering individuals.
You need to know him. Field program. In trillions.
I've never heard it.
Well, I think there's something we have to look at before we begin to blame him with all the awesome power.
I will not blame him. This system, just as I said.
The fact that it was not being properly
supervised. Gosh, you know I said it before.
It was
It's
not being properly
autonomous. It's
supervised.
autonomous. If you remember, the Minister of Finance came out to say she was not aware of what
Naira
CBN.
yes. Policy.
But
when you see power,
And, yeah, this
power corrupts.
Yes.
Ayo.
So
Power corrupts and absolute power corrupts
Absolutely.
absolutely. That kind of power that has been given to that man is difficult not to be abused.
You know, sorry, Mr. Bato, just like Mr. Bato said, you know, he was there for 9 solid years.
9 solid
You know
years.
what 9 solid years means? He
Passed
started
through
seeing himself as
three presidents.
Untouchable, and
okay,
he displayed it.
from Jonathan.
Two presidents.
Two presidents.
Jonathan and
the Taylor Jonathan.
8 years,
8 years
under
of
Buhari, 1 year under Jonathan. It's enough for him to, for him to go mad. So this,
So
he
became enamored with the kind of power that he has.
There's one soundbite.
And he was going
anyway,
unchallenged.
he has made a record.
There was a time he
Nigeria.
just told, if you want to fight me, you can
He
come.
challenged. There is nothing he did.
And because it was not being properly supervised.
There's nothing he didn't
Is
do.
this supervision of the system?
I think I don't think.
I think it's
the guy
more of the
is so
system,
distracted.
though.
Where no central bank governor has ever done what he has done, and he has created a record. This is the first central bank governor in Nigeria that will spend 6 months in detention. None of the central bank governor has even been queried. If they had, you can remind me, since 1960.
He deserved it.
He deserved it.
Yeah, because
he deserved it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
Nigeria went through pain.
One above board.
Through pain, and we're still going through the pain.
A
1 year after.
lot of women who died in the labor room because they wanted to deliver, and the husband cannot source money from the bank, and the doctors will refuse to treat you. You can't just imagine.
Still going through the pain.
So, like people used to say, well, the leaf that is dancing on the surface of the water, the drummer is beneath the water. Mm-hmm. Somebody must have been giving him confidence that whatever he does as CBN governor, is going to get away with it. But I want to believe that
So some people
FCC
say,
will do their
some people will say, President Buhari gave him the power. That the box stops on the table of president.
Well,
you're right. Of course,
right,
those are not wrong.
but he didn't
Just as you
supervise
said,
it.
the supervision wasn't there. It wasn't there. Just say, for instance, the managing director of a company is supposed to have a board of directors. And then when the board is like a dassical, inefficient, not doing their job, what do you expect the MD to do? There's supposed to be checks and balances. When you veer off, the president was supposed to put him, especially with that Naira policy. I think that's where, at that point, Nigerians got to know that there was something wrong within the CBN and the coordination from the presidency.
You have to implement
there
it
are
at
certain
all
things.
costs.
Yes, and then
before the election.
You know why I'm saying this? Nigerians were practically crying. People were buying money with their own money. You have money in the bank you cannot access. People were crying. I remember when they said they should return 1,000 to CBN headquarters. You need to see the crowd. And there, some days after, and I think the Supreme Court ruled, and then Emefiele was saying, no, this is what...
That still waiting for the president.
And then the president was quiet about it.
He was quiet about it.
This is the first time I'm seeing a president listening to Nigerians. Something happens, people cry, and then you see
next day
he's taking action. Why don't we just sit? And I've said it many times here. I've never seen anything like that since I was born. That people, you see ministers who are not doing anything for 8 years, 8 solid years, doing nothing. At times, we don't even know some of them, their names.
I can't even remember the names of 10.
So what do you expect the CBN?
And I could remember that.
People were crying that the economy was crashing. What was it?
When I was
change the CBN governor, nothing.
I can mention the name of 15 ministers in Nigeria. But now I don't think I can remember any. Because they were just warming.
They were not doing anything.
And they were doing things what they like because the president was not supervising it. No matter what, the buck stops on the table.
Of the president.
The executive president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
8 years.
All right. We'll take this breather. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this time out. You don't want to go away.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB